rapscallions, you internet orphans, you beautiful strangers. Howdy, folks. Wait, no you don't. No you don't what? No you don't which? No you don't who? Took us just a second. We got the chat up and running now. I did a little bit of arguing with the robots about like, yo, why is this dumb? And it turns out this is a bit of an intractable problem. On the one hand, good news. We are going out to 5 different landscapes, 5 different lands all across the world. Hello, beautiful people of Twitch. Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. Hello, beautiful people of other YouTube. Hello, beautiful people of X. Let's find out whether or not X is there. And I'm not gonna suggest that there's anybody unlovely out in the land of X. There we go. That's great. There we go. Hello, test. Let's see whether or not that showed up. Should shove that in your science pipe. There we go. Did I mean to title the live and the video that went live the same? What? Hold on. Let's see what's going on. I don't understand this question. Did I mean to title the live and the video that went live the same? First, step 1 is to verify the facts. Let's see whether or not what you're describing is the thing that just happened. Let's see. Well, right here we got... Yeah. There's this, which is happening right now. Perhaps you're responding to the fact that I put some effort into the thumbnails today. Which, yes, would be a bit unusual for Brian to have bothered to do it. New York Times Pips. I don't know what that means. There's a lot of things I'm learning already, right out of the gates. But in the meantime, I'm gonna double check and make sure I didn't accidentally make a video live. No, I did not. That's the video that we're about to put out. The video that you're watching right now is a live stream in which we will be discussing the video that is just about to be put out. See, Josh Van Allen, he gets it. He understands. There's some unusualness afoot when I'm putting forth effort for office hours. Ooh, look at that. Interesting. I just learned a thing. Guys, I just learned a new thing. This is important. When you learn new things, we got to share them. So hold on one second. We're going to do this, and we're going to bring this over here, and I'm going to show you the new thing that I learned. Check this out, guys. So this overlay right here for Josh Van Allen, for just JVA, notice how it's got a little bit of a highlight on there? I didn't understand what was happening, but look at this. Down here, this is the input because Social Stream Ninja renders it as a web page. Look what happens when I click here. It goes away. Look what happens when I drag here. My mouse works in this itty bitty tiny browser. How about that? This makes me want to try opening things. He says dumbly. But that is pretty dope. That opens up new possibilities. Did I sleep at the compound, or is the drive that short? Between where and where? I got up this morning at oh goodness. What time was it? Yeah, 5:30 this morning. And I did my first run wearing 10 pounds of weight. Rucking. I was very disappointed because it made it a lot harder. And yet then I looked and apparently I burned about 15 more calories. But I gotta tell you, I rather enjoy it. It is very strange to physically put on a vest that takes you not even all the way back to where I was when I was fat, but closer to it. And it's like, you can feel your chest tighten. You can feel everything's heavier. You can feel the desire to waddle and all that stuff. Hey, we got Riley Blanton in the house. So good to see you. Riley, if you're in a place to call in, I mean, you don't have to. I'm not going to pressure you on the spot, but I will point out that in this setup, I'm very well pleased with the fact that of everything. There you go. Let's do this. This section right over here that currently just has something written on it, that's actually just a placeholder, because what that's really supposed to be is for people to call in. And then when people call in, I can talk to them. And then when we talk to them, we can look at content together. We can have discussions. And if the content gets really interesting, then we can zoom in and watch the content or back out and have comments about it. But then the other person maybe has such a good point that I kind of want to get out of their way, in which case I could get out of their way. But maybe I want to butt in and then have a comment. My point is, if you want to call in, I'd love to chat. I can send you a link. But, and actually, you probably know something about this. Did you guys see that they made, allegedly, and I'm being careful in my language here, because I'm gonna mess up the science, because that's what I do. But allegedly, this shape was discovered last year, 2024, and was created for the first time in space. And we're gonna unpack why we should care. But first, we have to say hello, hello, hello to everybody who popped in. There it is. We got Josh Van Allen in the chat. Dylan Theus. Dylan Theus is the genius of the double tap, because not only is he always there first, but he knows it takes a little bit. There we go. There we go. It just now found the second one in Scam Nation land. There we go. This is Owen. The conversation came in and it just said, wait, no, I don't. I don't know what it is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll explain about the shape here in a bit. Nicholas George, good morning, good morning. What is he doing? I'm doing the same thing I always do. Getting up and I'm punching the day right in his big old silly dong. Dan33, for a second I thought this was a tech support issue that that I had. But yes, Josh Van Allen correctly figured out that that putting in effort for office hours, it is a bit of a violation of my first covenant, which is I make no promises. I'm only here to show up. All right, Riley Blanton says that he is not in a place to call, but we'll do that in a future time. Know that your spot is warm, and that we're getting to the place where I'm going to start to want friends of ours to stop by and say hello. So I'll put that on. Hey, what did I do to you? The day? Oh, man. Yeah, you think the day's just getting started. My punching leg. My punching leg is just getting started. Happy Friday to you too, Ultimate _. Oh, hello, Robert Williams. Hey, guys. First and foremost, shouts out to the GOAT, to the MVP, to the All-Star, to the reason for the season, my new Ember mug. Oh, that's right. In a beautiful copper. This copper dragon beast is at a cozy 139 degrees Fahrenheit. Why? Because that's the Americano setting. And that is the temperature it will stay at for the remainder. Oh, interesting, Best Darn Computer. I wonder why the cover art would be different. The notifications, it would make sense that there would be a lot of them, because Restream, you can see they're all here. But if you look at the title update, I just did this shape can't be made on Earth, and then the thumbnail I put on this one, and it should be the same for all of them. But if it's not, we're figuring it out. Y'all's watching a sandcastle get made in real time. What a gorgeous beast. A sandcastle for the ages. Is this a sponsor stream now? You know what? I didn't think about it. Now I feel like a real dope. That was a very un-Brian Brushwood way to go about getting this gift. I just asked for it for Christmas and I got it. Should have promised sponsorship. That was sorry, I got distracted by Mike in Oregon's comments. That's pretty good. All right. So I'm going to do my best to talk through the significance of this shape right here. And let me see if there's I think it was an Instagram story that he put on here. Let's see if we can find this. Also, what am I doing? What is this, amateur hour? See, that's so much better. There we go, Instagram. Nope. I don't want to see your pretty pictures. This Instagram video. Okay. And then, you know what I'll do? Okay. So at this point, now this is interesting. Before I go into talking about this, I want to point out that I'm considering the fact that there's a non-zero chance that this might end up being a fine short. And I need to also consider whether or not I have coverage in terms of different spots. If I was going to make a specific, in fact, why don't I? I'm going to take just a moment to make a specific shot so that there could be an Opus-friendly cut-down version of this. So what I'll do is I'll add an input here. No, I won't. I'm not even going to do that. Instead, I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a virtual input with that as the background. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy the settings from. We'll adjust the layers. We'll select it from this 21. And then on this one, first of all, I'm going to change the name. Actually, it's called Content Opus. There we go. So it's got a proper name. And then, since we know that we have Brian here on screen, let's take maybe media. Let's go ahead and crop this in a bit. Crop this in a bit. Crop this. Now, normally, if this was an actual program, I wouldn't be doing this on the air, but that's one of the beauties of office hours, is that we are all learning together. And we're learning stuff that... There we go. Yeah. And then we'll change me just a wee bit bigger. Whoops. Yeah. And then, just for symmetry's sake, we'll take fake Tom and make him a little bit bigger. Oh. Yeah, it's not the worst thing on the planet. It's only a little bit close to it. There we go. Like that. Cool. That's just it. This is what we got to find out. Okay, so, and then finally here, I'm going to hit stop recording on this. And I'll punch up the video quality to 20 to 20. And then I'll start running my mouth off. And then we'll see what we got here. Okay. Let's see. What the heck is this alleged shape that never existed before? Well, apparently it's silent, whatever it is. Here, we'll do this. We'll start it again. Refresh.
This is a soft cell, a three-dimensional shape which fills space without gaps and overlaps, but has no sharp corners. In July 2025 on the International Space Station, Tibor Kapu cautiously adds water into the skeleton. The liquid, free of Earth's gravity, first forms membranes attached to the edges and then gradually fills the whole skeleton, forming a soft cell made entirely of water. This is the first instance that a 3D shape with negative surface curvature has been realized from liquid water.
All right, I'm really happy. I'm really happy. This is beautiful.
This is a soft cell.
All right. Did you hear that headline, people? Man happy in space because of shape. Which is kind of a funny way to think of it. But here's the important part, right? So the question is, I saw this story. I was like, who cares? Also, it's hard for me to believe that any shape hasn't been made in the last lifetime of Earth, but just got made last year. But I'm going to do my best before I hear from the chat. I'm going to listen to you guys. But as I understand it, here's the significant part. This shape is one in which surface area is the dominant force, not gravity. Now keep in mind, the whole reason we got vertebrates, the whole reason bugs got exoskeletons, is because we're all fighting against gravity. However, the microscopic level, down at the cellular level, gravity is not king. It's so itty-bitty, surface tension is king. And shapes are made by things that are flowy and rigid. And in this case, this particular shape was theorized mathematically and modeled mathematically in 2024, just last year. However, there's literally no place to do it on Earth. Now, I suppose in theory you could make it with a different substance besides water, and you could have it in a suspension where gravity would have a minimal effect. But water, of course, has its own specific I don't know if I'm about to misuse the term specific gravity, specific surface tension. So to make it with water, they could only do it in the International Space Station. Now, this is great. Congratulations. Math models work. That's neat. What does that have to do with the price of gas? Cancer. Try your mind on for that. So antibodies are constantly white blood cells, as far as I understand. I am an idiot who eats fire for a living. Never forget. Those shapes molt in order to invade other shapes. I heard cells referred to as more like soap bubbles than anything else, where there are soft spots and more rigid spots. And in this regard, having this model of this shape recreated, not in the abstract, not in theory, not with a substitute item, but actual water matters. And in that regard, this is the beginning of yet understood, or hold on. Oh, wait. That's the trick right there. So what this matters, so the reason this matters is because eventually we're going to see this showing up in medicine. Hopefully. Let's see what you guys say. Steve or Gary? Gary. Yes, of course we got it from the new alien overlords. A soft cell. That's right. A soft cell is this category of shape. Let me get the actual name for this shape. It is, I believe, this particular shape is called oh, I guess the whole thing is called a soft cell. Interesting. Unlike polyhedra, like a prism, a cube, or a dodecahedron, we can picture all of those, the edges of soft cells don't need to be flat. In fact, the soft cell boasts concave sides that look like horse saddles, and indeed they do. So yeah, that is the category, is soft cell. I don't know what that means, but I believe you. Yeah, Lord Tyler, that's all pen and paper stuff that I'm going to have to figure out to get it exactly right. Soft cell is a Gen X Euroband. I love it. Let's see. Hyperbolic, yep, that seems right. Surface tension is king. Fills the shape like a cat. Oh, shoot, yes. I do have one gift to unbox. Ah, crap. Next time I'm gonna have to get it. The chiral aperiodic monotile was also discovered, aka the Spectre Vampire Ice Einstein tile. I believe you. If you tell me what to search, I will find it. I believe that. Well, indeed, the scaffolding was 3D printed. Everything could be 3D printed, but the question is, this particular shape, it was theorized that would work with the surface tension of water, but you can only model that mathematically, and indeed, until you're in space with time to kill, you cannot actually show it. That's what's going on here. All right, I'm going to see what happens if I stop that recording, and I'm going to try uploading that. And then we can maybe see if Opus has an idea of what to make with that. So in the meantime, let me just open Opus. Okay, so it's currently uploading. We'll be able to see this in just a moment. It does look like Tron's floating bit. Or what I meant to say was, yes. Actually, those would be good sounder buttons to have available. At any time. Like that. Ha! The trapped water crisis is real, and it's not infecting space. That's pretty good. That's really good. Ooh. I suspect, modest neophyte, this is me speculating wildly, stepping outside of my domain. I mean, ultimately, the surface tension of water is just not enough at that scale. An astronomically large version. I mean, our planet Earth became a liquid real fast when, was it Sedna? Is that the whatever the entity was? I want to say MRSA or Sedna or something. Smashed into Earth, liquefying it, and then forming Luna and the Earth. So I guess in that regard, the surface tension of the physical, all the solids became a liquid real fast. So I don't think it would be more stable than a sphere. I agree. I'm with you on this one. Plus, also, I suspect the scaffolding is important on this. The scaffolding, I assume, doesn't have to be. I think this is the significant part. Again, speculating, talking out, extroverting my way through understanding all this. As I understand it, these structures that are currently hard don't have to be actually rigid hard. They could just be another substance with a higher surface tension than water. Does that make sense? So if water's more wobbly and all you need is a seam to be made of something less wobbly than water, then everything else will fit in there. And we're talking all the way down at the itty bitty level where gravity isn't shaping. And again, I am only projecting. And may I remind you that there's only one thing you should trust less than me, and that is a robot. Because both of us will make it up, only I will cop to it. Is that right? That the Earth was mostly it was covered in liquid, but I thought that it was mainly rock. But I don't know. That's crazy. Ooh, hydrophobic would be an interesting twist on that as well. I wonder. Yeah, scaling up the surface tension. At that point, we have a substance issue. We'd have to figure out a different substance. The impossible Einstein tile. Let's take a look for that. We're looking for the impossible Einstein tile. This is 2 years ago. Is this the one? Ah.
This shape is a spectrum, and then combined with power tensions. When tiled on a 2D plane, it tiles a color, which is
Oh man, I found the most delightfully non-repeating representation of Pi's irrationality from the incredible Cliff Pickover, who, let's see if we can find this. There we go. Take a look at this. This is really neat. In fact, let me kill, I hesitate to call it my music, the other music. There we go. Take a look at this. This is really neat. It's a very intuitive way to represent the irrationality of Pi. Check this out. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Like, you just get it. You're like, oh, that's how pi be like. So I assume what's happening is basically it's a simple function. It's just a simple function of whatever this is. We're basically it's just e to the theta z theta e to the theta I e pi whatever. Point is, this thing moves, the other one spins at a function of pi, and you see how it never quite lines up. Cardioid. There you go. Thank you, modest neophyte. I appreciate having smarter cells in our multicellular network. All right, let's take a look and see whether or not we got anywhere on this. Oh, yeah, great. That is true, best darn computers. Yes, Glaucons, yeah. I too, math. And a happy mathematics day to you too. So this down here, what's cooking? I have it set on token saver, which I think is a pretty clever way to kind of distill. This is one of those moments where as you guys know, I'm pretty interested in the shifting, not so much the moral landscape when it comes to AI, so much as thinking of it in terms of the taste-based aspect of it, because AI means different things to different people at different times. And no two people are arguing about AI in the exact same way when they are. But in terms of what seems to be artistically acceptable, I think that for shorts, there's currently, and again, no value judgment, I'm just assessing the meta, there seems to be a slider bar of whatever the short is that's cooked up by Opus will be an authentic representation of the conversation that we've had. And as a result, I don't think that there's a spit take aspect to it. But the spit take being like the triggering the disgust impulse on there. I actually don't know about Element 115. If you want to help me out, Mike in Oregon. NPC driving AI is fine. LLM-powered Gen AI needs to be abolished. On the first half, I like that way of putting it. NPC driving AI is fine. I think we're totally in alignment on that. The way I express the same sentiment is AI is extremely good at interpolation. If you give it A, B, and C, and X, you're like, yeah, you get it. Fill it in. And then it'll pretty much do it, whether it gets individual details right or wrong, not. I suspect that the part where there's a bit of daylight between us is LLM-powered Gen AI needs to be abolished, starting at the end, working backwards. I don't even know that it can. I don't know. It was Jason Murphy that once told me, yeah, there's no, you can't put toothpaste back into that tube. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. Like once we've learned what fire is, there's no putting it back. Now, should or needs to be, that phrase does a lot of heavy lifting. And then we get into questions about like, well, are we talking about legally, ethically? Are we talking about rights holders? Are we talking about the environment? That's when we get into the gray goo of the weeds on there. But I like how much you and I are in alignment in what we see. Prompting tests our creativity. Yep, that's there's a transformative moment I had when I went to the Salvador Dali Museum. And of course, he has had a incredible gift for hyper-realistic painting, but he also would cut stuff out of magazines and just paste them in. And the dividing line in all of the reproductions of Salvador Dali's work, never entirely clear. And the only way for me to find out was to be standing right in front of a Salvador Dali mixed media painting and to understand which parts were his skill. And of course, all of it was his skill of curation, his skill of storytelling, his skill of being literally transformative art. But an awful lot of it was copy pasted, and then you could get into the business of calling Salvador Dali a fraud. You could get in the business of saying what he was doing wasn't real art and all that. But I do know that by and large, when I say Salvador Dali, you probably do not instantly think of guy who's cutting and pasting, literally cutting out with scissors and pasting with paste media from magazines onto a thing. And so similarly, just humans' understanding of what is and isn't art is going to alter as all of us shape our expectations. We're getting better at finding where's the human. Your toothpaste repackaging dreams have been crushed. Behold! Okay, so this guy still says 5 minutes on there. I'll tell you what, guys, we can start figuring out Moscovium. Is that real? Does it exist? Well, now I want to know, what is Moscovium? Actually, I can just do this. Moscovium. Synthetic super heavy chemical element with atomic number 115. Yeah, highly radioactive, of course. Wild. Look at that. Interesting. Yet with this, oh my God, you got me. You got me. You think of the melting ham, the weirdly folded cheese when you think of the Salvador Dali. Well played, sir. Well played. All right. Let's take a peek at this one. Okay, so, well, here, we'll just take a look.
Creating the deepfake itself.
Let's see.
Creating the deepfake itself, the actual lip sync or the voice clone is like the smallest part of the process. Everything else is post-production. If you've done podcast or radio editing or anything like that, you're like prepared to create world-class disinformation.
Wow. Yeah, that's below the threshold of raising an eyebrow. I wouldn't have paused
Right.
to think, wow. All right. That is 30 seconds at the top that really only casts a shadow of intrigue. And that's a big ask for casual audiences. This is not an easy lift on here. Let's watch more of this and see if there's So I wanted to launch it with the title, How to Spot a Deepfake in 2026. Because what this is about all of the high-end ways, trappings of what makes for a good deepfake, right?
Creating the deepfake itself, the actual lip sync or the voice clone is like the smallest part of the process. Everything else is post-production. If you've done podcast or radio editing or anything like that, you're like prepared to create world-class disinformation.
Wow. Yeah, that's below the threshold of raising an eyebrow. I wouldn't
I wouldn't have paused
Right.
to think, wow.
You know what? Hold on. Let me think this through again. If I picture that beginning, if I'm seeing, well, let's look at what the thumbnail would look like as well. Oh, cancel. So we got, oh, I don't know. Oh, here. I forgot that I can look this stuff up. There we go. 1 second. I bet we have different thumbnails to take a look at. Aha. Okay, so picture if the title was How to Spot a Deepfake in 2026. All right. So, yeah, so this must be the A/B test. So picture you see this, and it says, and the title says How to Spot a Deepfake in 2026. It definitely conveys surprise. It conveys that you're going to be impressed with something, which you will be. And so then, I guess through that lens, this doesn't seem as laborious as I had feared.
Creating the deepfake itself, the actual lip sync or the voice clone is like the smallest part of the process. Everything else is post-production. If you've done podcast or radio editing or anything like that, you're like prepared to create world-class disinformation.
Wow. Yeah, that's below the threshold of raising an eyebrow. I wouldn't have paused
Right.
to think, wow. This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by strawberry.me. Head on over to strawberry.me/rogue. All right, Perry, in your opinion, what is the gold standard for deepfakes right now?
I saw one a couple months ago, end of October, early November. There was a presidential race in Ireland. The front runner was someone named Catherine Connolly. The party of the person that was not winning that decided to launch a disinformation campaign. So I'm going to show you what I think is one of the best deepfakes I've seen in the past year.
So wait, this was in the wild with malicious intent?
Yes, with malicious intent. Got over 160,000 views on Facebook, which Ireland's a smaller country than the U.S., so things in perspective, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And the intent of that was to disenfranchise voters so they wouldn't go out on Election Day and vote for the candidate that was leading in the polls.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's see it.
Here's this.
In the last few minutes at a Catherine Connolly campaign event, Catherine Connolly has confirmed her withdrawal from the presidential race.
It is with great regret that I announce the withdrawal of my candidacy and the ending of my campaign.
No, Catherine!
Now that Catherine Connolly has...
So anyway, we do a discussion on how to spot a deepfake. Yeah, I think we deliver the goods pretty fast.
Prediction trick.
Okay.
This was from 2010.
Predictions in fun places throughout this video.
Is there for the audio. So one of the things you can do with a program like this is you want to look for congruency. So
Everybody who listens.
Harvard did a study where they wanted to know if offering a reason increased the likelihood that people would. Talking predictions, let me try something pretty bold. It's 2010 right now. I want to predict what things will be like in 2025.
Okay, now I totally hear it, because when I heard the first go round, I was comparing to my current voice, and I'm like, there's something uncanny about it. But there's enough distance in that 20 years between current me and back then me that I'm like, that's old Brian. He's young and has all of his brain cells.
Right.
Oh, here's 2025 prediction number 1. Donald Trump will be president. Twice. I know, right?
I do believe this is still your old voice, though, so we'll see.
Oh, hey, while we're talking predictions, let me try something pretty bold. It's 2010 right now. I want to predict what things will be like in 2025.
Yeah.
That's 15 years.
Between the music.
All right. Yeah. You know what? I'm not worried about delivering a big gotcha at the beginning because it doesn't really get impressive until you get all the context in here.
Yeah.
The concept of reality. And the more I see the work of one individual I'm thinking of, the more worried I become.
I assume we're talking about Perry Carpenter, right?
Sure.
It's the overlap of the voice that really.
Oh man, this is actually a great moment.
See the work of one individual I'm thinking of, the more worried I become.
I assume we're talking about Perry Carpenter, right?
Sure.
It's the overlap of the voice that really sells
got a really good sync on that. Looked eerie as anything, right? Dory show. She's talking,
and the more I see the work of one individual I'm thinking of, the more worried I become.
I assume we're talking about Perry Carpenter, right?
Sure.
It's the overlap of the voice.
That seems like the moment. But then again, we just did one with an easy on-ramp that is still, in fact, let's check in on let's run the numbers. Let's see. So Dunbar is still crushing. Let's see. Dunbar is the gold standard. The click-through is, okay, 6.07. That's great. That's great. And then the watch time is dipping a little bit, which is less great. So what that means is basically people are still opening that one. I worried about a big drop-off after Christmas. I should probably test another title going forward, but we'll get back to that. And then this guy, the open rate was our big problem before. Oh, dear. Oh, yeah. No, it's Christmas. People aren't gonna click on that after Christmas. But we'll see. Engagement, though, that's the one I care about. And we still have a fabulously long 12 minutes on there. That's great. Okay. Well, I think... Maybe, should we do a premiere in the morning? Maybe we should just go straight into a premiere of this. Do you guys have any pitches for titles outside of How to Spot a Deepfake in 2026? I'll be tweaking them after that, but now's a good time to drop all those in. If you got what synth pop banger? Behold the astonishing wizardry of the synth mage. He's got Dunbar's number, a New Year's party. Hey, sucker, these ain't real. I like it. That would certainly be good engagement bait. All right. Oh, you know what? We do have to close the loop on one more thing. Yep. Here we go. We've got clips to check out. Let's see if we like any of these. The question is, I saw this story. I was like, who cares? Also, it's hard for me to believe that any shape hasn't been made in the last lifetime of Earth, but just got made last year. But as I understand it, here's the significant part. This shape is one in which surface area is the dominant force, not gravity. That's so quiet. Why is that so quiet? If I hit play here. Vertebrates. For the whole reason bugs got exoskeletons, it's because we're all fighting against gravity. However, the microscopic level, down at the cellular level, gravity is not king. It's so itty bitty. Surface tension is king, and shapes are made by things that are flowy and rigid. And in this case, this particular shape was theorized mathematically and modeled mathematically in 2024, just last year. This is interesting. I should do some fact checking. Whoa. Hold on there, Tiger. Let's copy. This is the transcript of a YouTube short about a news item. Please check for accuracy. Going to post on the Modern Rogue. Boop. Boom. And we'll see what it says here. Yo, Robo. Drop a beat. Surface tension dominates gravity at small scales. Correct. Gravity becomes negligible. Great. They behave more like soap bubbles than rigid objects. Correct. Great. The shape was predicted mathematically before it was made. Correct. It required microgravity to be realized with water. Yes, it matters for biology and medicine. What needs correction? No, that's not what I said. Surface tension and interfacial energy dominate. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing that. The whole reason bugs got exoskeletons is gravity. Okay. Oversimplified and partially wrong. Antibodies, white blood cells. Yeah, I screwed that up. All right, I'll cut that out. Did I say molt? I meant morph. All right. Well, I'll just snip all that stuff out. And soon it'll be correct. Okay, well then I'll do this, gang. I got a short to make. Look at that. I got marching orders. I'm going to make this short airtight. And we're going to release the new Modern Rogue episode, How to Spot a Deepfake, in 2026. And, stop trusting your eyes in 2026. I fear that folks are late if they're just now getting the memo on that one. Stop trusting, just stop trusting everything. Full stop. All right, beautiful folks. I'm going to let it go with that. I forgot to put up a timer today, but that's A-okay. I'm going to launch a video and a short. I'll see you guys.